2, 3.
There we go.
4, 5, 6.
All right, guys, here we are. Gospel Fire. Man, my man Ryan Harris. What's going on, homie?
What's up, man? Honor to have you at the crib. Honor to be on your podcast, man. Honor to see you, brother, man.
It's good to see you, too, man. We met one time, right?
Yeah.
We got hooked up through Erin. You know, she got my whole thing going.
Shout out to Erin Reed,
Erin
man.
Reed.
She's a guide. She's a conductor on the Underground Railroad.
She's good, man. She's good. I'm an Erin Reed fan. I did a great podcast with her, so you know, it was amazing. This is my second recording. What up, YouTube?
What's up, everybody?
What up? We're trying to knock this video editing thing out. So, you know how it is.
New challenges, man.
Got to make it better, right?
Always.
You always have to be. I like to say, put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not putting pressure on yourself, what the hell are you doing? You know?
There's at my kids' hockey. There's a jersey for their whole program, and it says "best" on the back, and it says "better every single time."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I like that. I like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, right.
That's solid.
I was like,
I might
they
steal
gotta
that
keep
one.
that for some years. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they do. Man, it's just it's a weird thing, right? Like getting older. We were just talking about getting older, raising kids, and trying to like you've had a great career in the NFL. You know, I had not as a successful career in my sport, but
great career.
Yeah,
man.
but I'm no champ. I'm not. I don't have a ring, baby. But
you put belts on, man. You guys get belts there.
This is true.
Man.
This is true. But
you could whoop my ass right now, man. So who's really the champ? If I came at you right now, you put me down. Who's the real champ? I got a fake championship.
You never know, right? You never know.
I do know, man.
You know that's one thing you learn through fighting, right? Is it makes you humbler because you walk into a room sometimes and the dorkiest we have this. Okay, so there's our back in the day, Dwayne Ludwig, who's a local fighter now, has his own school and trains a champion. You know, he's the dorkiest looking motherfucker there is. Right? His pants are up to his belly button.
Yeah.
His shirt is tucked in.
Suspenders.
You know, all that. But he beat the brakes off of people.
Yeah.
You know, so you learn through fighting to be nicer, right?
Yeah,
because you're well, that dork, you don't know, right?
Yeah.
You just don't know. So but man, so you just had a book come out and you talk about in your book the mindset of mastery.
Yeah.
Right? You know, where and for folks that don't know, you're a Super Bowl 50 champion with the Denver Broncos. Just talk us through your career a little bit, because I know this is the Gospel of Fire, and in my opinion, we go through hell while we're alive.
Yeah.
You know, and we better be prepared. We better do things in our life. We better do things in our life that prepare us for that hell.
Yeah.
You know, talk us. And I know you went through some struggles in your career, and then came through to the promised land.
Yeah.
You know, that Super Bowl champion. I remember I read the part of your book where you're talking about the night before and what you were saying to yourself. But there's a lot that leads up to that, right? There's a lot of tough time. A lot of hard times that lead up to that. That's, what was that like for you?
Well, first thing, in 10 years in the NFL, I had 9 different surgeries. You know what I mean? I've had 3 surgeries on my back. I had a toe surgery where I literally had to crawl up the stairs at one point because I forgot my phone. Ended up spending a month and a half on my futon on the main floor because I just wouldn't do that again. Because I'll never forget crawling up the stairs thinking, how the hell do I play again? And
I think it's crazy, right? Because everyone hears turf toe.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it was from?
Yeah, it was turf. So so the ligaments underneath your toe that keep your toe attached, mine had severed. And they actually tried to put me back out on the field. And when I got on the field, my coach was and I got injured again. Well, I was injured, and then you just can't feel your foot. And my coach was screaming, "Get off the field!" And it's just this time of man, if I could walk, I would murder you, right? But
so I used to think that turf toe. I was when I was a kid, you know, and I never had it before. I'd be like, man, stop being a pussy.
Yeah,
you're making millions of dollars.
Stubbed your toe,
right?
Or something.
You stubbed your toe, and then I got it. Woo. Oh my god. It's a year long.
Yeah, it's a year. It really was. It was a 9-month recovery. But in the beginning, and I was a chubby fat kid with glasses, and I always loved football. I always wanted to play football. I didn't know how to hit even when I got my first pads. But through football, after my first practice in pads, I found out I could hit, and I found out it was good to be big. I could open space for someone to be successful. I could protect a quarterback, and these things, in that way, football really loved me first, and I'll always be grateful for that. And from an early age, I was also elite, and a lot of it, I think, comes down to listening. And You know, Mike Tomlin at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the last team I played for, he's a fantastic leader, and every day in his meetings, he talks about, 1, first rule, get better showing up. 2, listening is a skill, and it's your job to find out how you listen, and our job to give you information in that vein. And for me, I always listened to my coaches, but I also didn't care about being pushed back. A lot of it, I think, had to do with being multiracial. You know, I'm black and white.
I stole your line in my book.
Yeah, the Obama black.
I'm Obama black.
We're Obama black, man. You know, but so I just didn't care what people thought, and you know, I remember being a sophomore trying to go for the varsity team, being elbowed back because I'd go first every time in the line. And then when I got to
where did you grow up?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay.
So I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, the tundra, and so grew up, went to a storied program, Cretin-Durham Hall under Coach Calick. So like for those of you who know sports, Joe Mauer, catcher for the Twins, went there. Paul Molitor, Chris Winkie, Heisman Trophy winner. We actually had, I think it was 5 kids.
Well, where's Winkie play? Florida State or
Florida State? Yeah, okay, Florida State. You got it. So,
quarterback, right?
Quarterback.
Yeah.
So he went to Cretin too, and I had a fantastic couple of coaches. One of them is actually coaching the NFL now. But really excelled there in high school and listened, and was very lucky not to get injured. You know, the injury rate in the NFL is 100%. You play, you're going to the knife. That's the deal. And I was healthy through high school, went to college. You know, my first night in college, I got in a fight in the snack line because I got to the line and they were like, no, freshman go behind. I'm like, you know, fuck you, man. I want this chicken nugget. You know what I mean? And so we got in a fight there. Called my mom, like, I hate this place. I want to go home.
Notre Dame, right?
Yep. I went to Notre Dame and ended up starting there as a freshman after 3 games. And
who was the coach then?
So I had Willingham and Weiss. So I had Tyrone Willingham for 2 years, Charlie Weiss for 2 years. But one of my first, week of practices, I was getting my ass kicked. I mean, literally, one time I got hit so hard my cleat was off. And sometimes in football and probably in the fighting, you make a sound that you're not proud of, So I got drilled, I'm like, and I had one cleat off and one cleat on. And I was just like, holy crap, I'm getting my ass kicked. And that night, I really just was like, hey, I'm going to focus on, I read the Book of 5 Rings. And there were a lot of reasons why I wanted to write a book because so many books have been powerful for me. But I just focused on one drill, one specific drill. I'm going to kick his ass tomorrow. I'm going to fire off the ball. I swear the next day I did it, knocked the shit out of him. And startled him, startled everybody around me. And that was really the start of me getting to where I wanted to be. A lot of it was the training I went through. We run 18-400s with my trainer, Ted Johnson. So I was physically in shape, but mentally I had to close that gap.
It's so weird that mental thing, right? Like especially like you talk about this one play. This one play in practice. Yeah. Like this one play in practice just set you.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan's shot for North Carolina. And then it just made him. Yeah. Right? Like he just never looked back from that day.
And I read a quote by one of the current Notre Dame football players, and he said, you don't know the moment's coming until it becomes a memory. And I thought that was really poignant, because
say it again.
You don't know when the moment comes until it becomes a memory. And I thought that was just so profound. You can't wait for that moment. I couldn't have known then, but I made up my mind then. And my mind said that I was going to stop getting my ass kicked and I was going to start kicking some ass. So started then at Notre Dame after the 3rd game. Was the 3rd freshman in the history of Notre Dame to start at offensive line. Just really had a great career there. Senior year, had my first back surgery. Got drafted to the Broncos. And I remember everybody moved so fast. Everyone was so big. People were talking about things I had no idea about. Like, man, we had this great Eastern Atlantic sea oysters. And I'm like, what's an oyster?
So what's that difference like, though? So like you said that everyone's so big so fast, right? Because you watch these college games. You have thousands and thousands of college players, right? And then you go to the NFL. What is that jump like?
So high school, I'll just give you an example on the snap of the ball. High school, it's wide 80, set, hut. Then the ball goes. College, it's wide 80, set, hut. Ball's coming out a little quicker. In the pros, it's wide 80, set, hut. I mean, the ball snapped while the quarterback's still talking. What I mean? Okay. And not to mention in the NFL, it's hey, right, left, wide 80, easy, Omaha, alert, Omaha, blue up. I mean, it's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? A whole lot's going on before that snap count. And you got to time things up. And you got to use deception. You got to punch. You got to be confident. And so I remember being in the showers my rookie year thinking, do I have to tell them that I can't play football or are they going to figure it out, And
so I have this, before you go, I have this rule in my house. And my oldest just had a birthday party on Sunday.
Congratulations, Dad, by the way, on the birthday.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. People miss that, right?
Yeah, we did our job.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It may only take it 3 seconds, 30 seconds, but we did our job.
It was okay. And after, it was a Sunday, like, you know, we wanted to play flag football, you know, so we went and I reffed flag football with the kids and some other dads, and they came back and they wanted to watch football. And one of his friends is like, I don't know who he called awful, but he called somebody awful. And I was like, Kane, you better tell him the rules in the house watching sports, you know, because I have rules like, you can complain about an outcome,
right?
But you can't talk shit about a person,
right?
Like, you can't say that person's awful, because that person does his job way better than anything you do in your whole life,
right?
You know, especially like at the pro athlete level.
Yes.
I was like, I can't stand that. Like, that's why I wanted to kind of go. You had to go over that. Like, yeah, man, well, it's going crazy, and yeah, you might flinch and get a false start.
Yeah. You know, or by the way, I'm going against Eliot Marshall, and he goes, hut! You know, like defensive linemen try and get you off sides too. You know, so it's like, why Eddie, hut! Oh, you know, I got a false start. You know?
Right.
But I think also the reverence comes from enduring, because you know, with every professional, whether it's a lawyer, a doctor, an athlete, they've endured to get there. You know, and that's a big difference, and that's why I love doing. I'm in broadcasting now because I like to humanize and educate people about the game they love, football. And, you know, especially with football, we got masks on. People say that all the time. There's human beings. There's fathers. There's sons, right? Husbands who are underneath those face masks.
Yeah, it's not, you know, it's not just some guy making $1 million.
Yeah, and like, just showing up on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Even close friends would be, after a game, they'd text me when I'd come visit Denver and when I played for other teams, they'd say, hey, can we go to a dinner after the game? Like, bro, we're on a plane, hour and a half after the game. Like, this isn't a vacation, you know, and people would call me and be like, hey, you want to go to lunch on Thursday? I'm like, bro, I'm at the facility from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on a Thursday. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You know, there's just a disconnect there, rightfully so.
And you have a life, though.
Have a life.
You have a wife, you have kids, you have a mom, you have dad.
Feelings.
You have, right? You know, and all of those things affect you.
Yeah.
And it, like, your paycheck can be as big as your paycheck is.
Yeah.
And those things still affect you. Like, they will affect your performance. They will affect your life. They can't help but not. It's everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything. And people, I just don't, it's just like, it's a disconnect.
It's a great rule you have at your house.
Yeah, like we can, look, I want my teams to win.
Yes.
You know? And I can be like, God damn it, we didn't catch the ball. They didn't do whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't suck.
Yeah.
You know? And it's more for my kids, you know. It happened, and the only people I let get away with it are my dad and my father-in-law.
Yeah. They're the elders.
They're the elders, man. They can do whatever it is they want, you know. They did their job with me and my wife, you know, to get us to where we are now. So they can complain all they want, but everyone else, you know, you gotta be respectful for other people in your life.
Yeah,
you know?
Everybody needs more rules like that.
You know, I talk about a lot of the 6 rules for my kids, you know. I'm not religious. I know you're a Muslim, right? I want to talk about that, you know. So, but I understand like this God thing.
Yeah.
You know, like you need something that you can always point at.
Yeah.
Right. Like for some guidance, and like through my breakdown, I came to the rules.
Yeah.
You know, and which kind of like help us and help me and the boys kind of like march through life. Like right now they can't get away from my 6 rules. So
yeah, you know? For now, yeah. And then when they get out,
but they're gonna change though.
Yeah,
they're gonna change. Like my rule once they learn what their dick is really for.
Yeah.
You know, rule number 1 is gonna change.
Purpose. Yeah.
Rule number 1 is gonna change once they want to actually use it. So,
but everything's a change, man.
Did you grow up Muslim?
No, so I was the only Muslim in my family. I actually came to it the year.
So am I saying that wrong? Is it Muslim?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Actually, that's actually the preferred. People say Muslim, and actually that means something different in Arabic.
What's the
but
difference?
It's Muslim. Yeah,
what's the difference?
Muslim actually means like a dirty person. Like the Z sound is different. So
Okay.
Muslim,
okay.
but so you said it right. Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just was searching, man, for God, and I believed Jesus existed. Clearly, somebody named Jesus had an impact on people, right? You know, but for me, the divinity piece was a little hard to get to. And one of the things, you know, I was asleep in my social studies class when I was 14, and they had a world religions class video on, and I woke up and they're talking about Islam, and I looked into it. I studied Buddhism, really still love a lot of the Buddhism teachings. But, you know, Islam it's one God, and you know, you mentioned God, but I always tell people, like, there's different words for God in Arabic. You know, like God is not a thing, a person. It's the omnipotent. You can't believe it. One of my favorite names for God is Al-Qahar, which is the irresistible, right? Not like, that's not a person, you know, but that feeling, that way that you got those 6 rules, it was irresistible to you to find those 6 rules. Like, you knew somewhere in you had to find that, you know. And we also say the creator of all things. You know, one of my favorite and repeating themes in the Quran are things like, do you not see the mountains and how we set them firm? Do you not see how we breathe life to grass after it dies? I mean, things like that, you know. So you're talking about a total encompassing unified theory, Einstein called it, right?
Right.
So that's to Muslims what it's about. And for me, and a lot of my journey, you know, I talk about in the book too, when you want to be great, you're not going to have a lot of friends. You know, Mike Tomlin at the Steelers, bring him up again, he says, if you want to be successful, get used to being lonely. And I love that, because I think especially when we want to be great at things, we always want to have great people around us. But the truth is, everybody around you doesn't want to be great. And the quicker you recognize you don't need them, the quicker you're going to be great in whatever you're going after.
So, man, let me think about that. How do you, but you bring people up.
Always try to, yeah.
Right, but you bring people up, you know, and I agree with you, right? Because I think people think they want to be great, you know. People think they want to be great, but they don't want to do what it takes to be great.
Yeah.
Like it takes something special. It takes something really, really special.
It takes a mindset
to be great. It takes a mindset.
And to me, you know, I think about and after we won the Super Bowl, everybody's heard the song by Queen. We are the champions. You know, no time for losers, because we are the champions. And after we won the Super Bowl, I really was like, I really get that for the first time. And I'm not saying losers aren't people who need our help. Losers aren't people who are homeless. Losers aren't people who have a mental difficulty and haven't been able to get the correct care, and now they're doing X, Y, and Z. I'm talking about people who wanted to stay on my couch and play video games and smoke weed all day while I was at practice. When I get home, they said, what are we doing for dinner? No, motherfucker, you need a job. You need to get out of my house. You need to, you know, what are you making for dinner? You slept here. So now if you stay with me, we're going to work out. You know, that's the rule. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's learning how to recognize distractions. Like one of the things before the Super Bowl, you know, I came off a season where I played in 16 games, started 15 of them for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they told me at the end of that season, you got no football left, Ryan. Well, I had to train in a dark...
So hold on, you started 15 out of 16 games in the fucking NFL.
Played in all 16. Yeah. Started 70 total, yeah. Played in over 100 games in the NFL.
And then just at the end of the season...
And in that season, they said, you know, we just don't think you have any football left. And then I went to win the Super Bowl and we beat the Chiefs twice. Loved it. Or once. Loved it. And then I see them all the time now, those guys that wear my ring, and it's like, thanks for letting me go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
thanks for being wrong about me. You know, but you know, but in that time before I won a Super Bowl and after the Chiefs told me I had no football left, I was literally training, and you know, you've been in gyms, dark gyms, but it was also a dark gym of doubt and self-doubt, and am I done with football? Like I know I can still win a championship, but I just chose, you know, one of my things with my mindset are the words, I am, I can, I will. And I said, I am a great football player. I can help a team win a championship. I will, and I will lift weights. I will take action. I will be with my family while I can, because when I get to where I'm going, I will give everything I can to win a championship. And after that, I can do whatever else I need to do with my family, my friends. So I really chose my mindset at those different points in my career. And Islam was really with me throughout, you know, just like the idea of Ramadan. You know, it's not an idea of going without. It's a concept of self-restraint. You can eat food, you can drink water, but during the day, can you give it up? Can you restrain yourself and recognize and put yourself in a feeling of where people who are homeless might be every day around you? You know, how are you treating your family members? Can you forgive somebody in this month that you really don't want to forgive? Can you invite somebody to your house you really don't want to invite to your house? And so these are all things that were with me, even though I didn't have a lot of friends, and even though I was going through self-doubt and things like that. So I chose my mindset, and I also chose to be a Muslim.
When did you choose? In 14?
Yeah, when I was 14. Shout out to everybody who's born in the 80s. I did a 3-way call with my friends. Because when you become Muslim, you take the Shahada. You say, Shahadu la ilaha illallah, Shahadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, which means I bear witness that there is one God, and you know, Muhammad is his slave and messenger. And so they're kind of like, what? And I went and got an Allah chain from the Piercing Pagoda. You know what I'm saying? And I went to a conference on diversity, and one of the presenters' names was Muslim. I was like, I'm going to go see him. And so I went to that segment, and then he saw me after. He goes, do you know what that chain says? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing, man. Can you help me out? So he took me under his wing, and being Muslim has been a growth process for me my whole life, but it's been something that's helped me become a champion in this life and God willing in the next. And Muslims are supposed to be good neighbors, 40 doors to your right, 40 doors to your left. If someone takes advantage of you, it's a blessing for you. You know, you're supposed to give a pen ready to use. I mean, this is what being a Muslim is, and this is how I try and live my life. Man,
it's something that that I think we need a little more of, understanding each other.
Yeah.
You know, like we just we get super divisive.
Yeah.
You know, especially over our religions and our politics.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, like the you're right and I'm wrong kind of thing.
Crazy.
And it's just even like, you know, I probably disagree with some of Islam, and you know what I mean, like as I do with other religions.
Yeah.
You know, but that doesn't mean like you're bad and I'm bad, or vice versa. We can like have like we need a little more of this. Like, all right, we see the world differently a little bit, but we can still talk about it.
Talk about being fathers.
Yeah,
we can talk about traffic,
and we can talk about. I think we got to be able to talk about this too, though.
Yeah.
Right. We have to be able to sit down at a table and not get so offended.
Yeah.
You know, let me hear what you have to say. I hear, and then get up and then move on from it,
right.
And then go back to the fathers and the husbands and the brothers and the children that
parents
we are.
visiting.
Yeah, you know, all that stuff. You know, where it's where it just it's a little like I don't think, and I really don't think we're as divided as people as like the media would like us to believe.
Well, and that's why I'm so glad you're doing a podcast. When you told me you were doing it, I'm just so happy because you bring such a different perspective and things that you and I have in common. You know, and I always talk about building bridges. You and I have traveled.
Yeah.
So we've seen that chicken and rice is in pretty much every community in the world.
Everywhere.
You know, you may call it something else, but you know, everybody likes chicken.
Your ravioli's my dumpling.
Yeah, exactly, right? You know what I mean?
Man.
And you put spaghetti sauce on it, I put soy sauce on it. And now in America, we put sriracha on it.
Whatever
you know
we do. Yeah.
So, but I always think about if you have time to hate somebody or really hang up on a difference, you're too comfortable in life.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have the resources we had, and I needed, if I sold beef and you sold, you know, wood, and you needed to eat, and I needed to build a house, we wouldn't care what the hell anybody else thought. Hey, Eliot, I need to get some wood, man. Hey, Ryan, I need three cows.
You're cooking dinner and I'm building the house. Right?
So here we go. So now, but you know, all of a sudden, if I have the wood and I have the cows, and you're like, Ryan, I need some cows. I'm like, well, what do you believe? You know, and now I'm comfortable. Now I don't need you. So I always tell people to seek that uncomfort and ask questions. And Peyton Manning, man, if you're in a meeting with Peyton Manning for 30 minutes, star quarterback, Hall of Famer, he's going to ask 5 questions in 30 minutes, you know, because he wants to know more. He wants to know more. And I think we need to do a better job of building commonalities through asking questions.
We need to get out of our houses.
Yeah.
You know?
Out of our Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you know, we need to get out of our houses. We need to put our cell phones down. And, like, when you're sitting next to somebody, talk to them.
Yeah, I feel...
See how much you have in common.
My wife and I, we talk about it all the time. I feel so lucky that we grew up in an age before cell phones were everything. And my brother just went to Guatemala, had a formative trip, and one of the things was they had to leave their cell phones at home. And he's like, we played board games, we had conversations, we laughed, all these things that we miss because sometimes we just want to check up on the Saturday.
It's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier, right? I mean, I feel like what I feel the luckiest about in this regard is I got very lucky with my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like the neighborhood that I live in is like, and I literally have lived on both sides of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And the one side where I lived before was not like this, and now I live here, just like down the street.
Yeah.
And like, there's no knocking on doors.
Right.
You know, like it's like you just walk in the house.
Yeah.
Like if I need eggs, and I'm out, I just walk over. Open the door. Hey, I need some eggs.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even get up.
You're a village.
Yeah, yeah. We do this, like, together.
Yeah.
You know, which is the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like, we evolved as a human species through, like, struggle with each other.
Yeah.
You know, we all took care of each other. And we had to put our differences aside. Like, you know, and you got to do that.
And you love this aspect of Islam. As a Muslim, I'm supposed to feed someone. And there's different interpretations, either 3 meals or for 3 days before I ask them their name. Like, that's how welcoming of a guest you should be as a Muslim. Like, I think you came in, I asked you 3 times if you were hungry.
I was hungry, yeah.
As a Muslim, it's like, I should never let anybody leave my home hungry. You know what I mean? So it's like that village, that community you're talking about is so very important to so many people and so many cultures.
I think all of them, though.
Yeah.
You know, because my my grandparents are concentration camp survivors.
Wow.
And it's the same thing. Like when you went to their house, like my grandmother just started cooking. I'm not hungry. It didn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like, you know, I would like tell my friends, like, hey man, you're gonna come with me and just fucking eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like sit there. Like when she puts the food on the table, just eat the food.
Yeah.
You know,
and get over the fact that I got white family members.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people like, yeah, these are my uncles. They're like, they're white. I'm like, yeah, they're my uncles. You know, like, get over that. Now let's eat. Yeah.
As you know, yes. You know, you know, and I was like, look. And when she calls you fat, and when my grandfather calls you fat, like he's telling you look good. Like this was really hard for my wife at first.
Oh, yeah.
Because like coming from the concentration camp, fat is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because they saw people skin and bones, right?
That's crazy.
That, you know, so they saw skin and bones on people. So when you say, oh, you're looking good, and you, like they touch you, and you're like, and
get some meat on you.
Yeah, and that means healthy.
That's crazy. And if you took offense to that, how could you take offense knowing the context?
You know,
same thing of like what we find offensive can sometimes be understandable.
Yeah,
you know,
and there's all different people have all different kinds of experiences.
Yeah,
and just do you know Brene Brown?
Sounds familiar.
She's an author, you know, and she's one of my favorite authors. Keep talking about. I have 2 goals for my public presence is I want to meet and get in front of Brene Brown.
Yeah.
And I want to get on Rogan's podcast.
There you go.
You know, because he's the god. You know,
you got it, man.
But she was talking about just like her experience through life in this book, Dare to Lead. You know,
I got that one actually. Katika Roy, she recommended it. I actually have it upstairs. It's in my queue.
If it's in you, okay. So if I would say do Daring Greatly first.
Okay.
Do Daring Greatly because she talks about what you were talking about, the Teddy Roosevelt quote. It's like in the arena, right? When you're talking about your friend on the couch, like you made me think of it because like she loves like her whole book is about that. Like and what you were saying, like those cold and timid souls that know neither victory nor defeat. That's what I'm the most afraid of.
I love that Teddy Roosevelt quote too. And one of the things that happens in the NFL. You know, my first few years, I would read the newspapers. I mean, because at first, you know, your mom's like, oh my God, they wrote an article about you. And you're reading, and all of a sudden, you know, you have a bad game. And it's like, well, I don't want to read that. Now I got to see this guy. And at one point, it almost, you know, led me to almost commit suicide, the negative press. And I just had to stop reading it. And that Teddy Roosevelt quote gave me a lot of peace. I'm like, these writers have a job to do. And they've never had a 350-pound man try and rip their face mask off while they were trying to do their job. Yeah. You know, and now in broadcasting, I always fuck with the writers because they're always trying to tweet. You know, oh, big catch, oh man. So I'll tap their arm and I'll move their computer and I'll say, oh, it's kind of hard to do your job when someone else is across from you, huh? Good. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give him some perspective.
What's the matter? You can't write, motherfucker?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And oh, by the way, are you having trouble with me talking trash? Because when I go against Eliot Marshall, he's gonna be talking trash to me
the whole time,
the whole game. So I love kind of just showing people like the different side of things. You know,
yeah, man. You know, I can't get down with some of the you know. I used to love like, and I'm not trying to crush it, you know, but like PTI and Around the Horn, like there's shows where they crush people, you know, and I just can't get into it anymore because it's like, man, you're like one of you guys is gonna rip this guy and the other one's gonna defend and back and forth and like. Man, I'm not gonna rip Lance Armstrong. No. You know, I'm not gonna rip Lance Armstrong.
I don't know what it's like to go on a bike.
I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's like to survive cancer. No. You know? And everyone wants to like rip this guy for like steroids and whatnot. And
they cheat to win right now.
Yeah, but you can't even award the Tour de France to somebody because everyone was cheating.
If he was beating people who were cheating, how will you give it to anybody else? You know, and I get it. Like you don't have to have an acceptance, but to completely tear down, and I think they banned him for life for all cycle. I mean, think of the cycle awareness he could do and money he could raise for cancer if they did a cycling program with youth in 50 cities, or a Lance Armstrong country tour that hit all 50 cities and gave bikes like LeBron James did to kids in the neighborhoods that need bikes, who need a mode of transportation. I mean, you take so much ability. While these same people, if you said, hey, if you take this pill right now, you'll make $5 million. Everybody you know in regular life is taking that pill.
And do your job better. My neighbor has a great quote on this. He says, man, if you told me that I could make more money and do my job 30% worse I would take the pill.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know, you might not be able to walk afterwards, but hey, you know, you got your financial goals. So I'm with you there, man. It's the man in the arena, the woman in the arena. We need to encourage. And that's why, you know, I love encouraging people
to get in the arena.
Get in the arena, and when you're there, at some point your good will not be good enough, and that's when you need a mindset. That's when you say, what can I do? That's when you look for opportunities, because it happens to all of us. You know, as an athlete, so many people think we don't handle failure. We practice failure.
That's all it is.
And we talk about failure as a people less than we talk about sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know more about the sex your friends are having than the failures they've endured this week.
Well, because we're so scared of it. It makes you so vulnerable.
It does.
Right? And like you even watch like how people deal with their children.
Yeah.
Like we don't let our kids fail.
Right.
Like we're taking all of the failure away from our kids. And how like everyone like gets all mad at these millennials, you know? Because they're lazy and that didn't work. Look, man, that is not a child's fault. Like if it's a whole generation of people acting a certain way, it might be the people that raised them.
Yeah.
What did we do as a society to change to make a generation of kids a certain way?
And for me, we were talking with Coach Malone, the Nuggets head coach, and he's got some young guys who are playing in some big moments. And I said, you know, how is that for you as a coach? Because one of the players, Malik Beasley, made a defensive mistake that ended up tying the game, and then later on he made that same play and played great defense. I said, what's that fine line? He said, it is a fine line. He said, because when you're developing young players, you have to play them in big moments and then let them fail. And I thought, what a powerful statement on development. You as a coach, I know, okay, Eliot, you've never played offensive tackle before, but you know what? I'm putting you in on 3rd and 13. I'm actually putting you in on 4th and 7 with the game on the line, because you know what? Everything around the actual play, you have to experience to make you the best player you can be. And that's something that I look forward to with my kids, letting them fail, giving them times to fail. My son wanted to quit hockey because he couldn't really skate, and everybody was fashioning him that we don't quit in this household. Quitting is habit forming. And so he's gone back, and we did some more skate time, and now he was scoring pucks, and now knows how to stop on the ice.
You know, that's those lessons. They start so young.
Yeah.
Right. They start like I always like with my kids, the dishes.
Yeah.
You know,
clean up after.
Do you know how easy it is for me to just do their dishes and for you to do your kids' dishes? Yeah. It's so much easier for us.
Yeah.
But it won't be easier when they're 15.
No.
Because they won't know what it's like to like work at something.
And I tell my kids, you know, I'm huge on financial literacy. You and I've talked about it. And one of the things my dad taught me when I was younger, I used to, you know, I tried to put a Snickers bar in the you know, on the belt. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I want a Snickers." He goes, "Do you have Snicker bar money?" I said, "Well, no." Takes that off, puts it back, grabs himself a Milky Way, puts it on the belt. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I got Milky Way money." So my kids, when we're out, they say, "Well, I want this." I said, "Do you have money for that?" "No." "Okay, you don't get it." You know, just a small lesson, like you said, starts early, but you need to know. You know, DJ Khaled said it, nothing's for free.
That's my rule number 5, man. Make your money work for you. You don't work for your money.
Big, man.
You know? Like my kid, like I try to have my kids learn how to cut the grass.
Yeah.
And it's hard, right? I got big kids. Like, so Cayman, my oldest, he could start at 7, and he was terrible at it.
Yeah.
You know, he was awful. Couldn't start the lawnmower, couldn't do it. They couldn't push the thing straight, barely.
Keep the line straight.
Nothing, right? Nothing. But he's like, "Dad, I can't cut the grass." I was like, "I know, that's why we're going to do it."
That's why I love martial arts, man. And I haven't reached near a level that you have, but I've always loved, you know, and like when people say Muslim or Islam, I also think Kung Fu or Tai Chi, right? This is a mindset and a way to live life, but there's so much practice, and I talked about already the Book of 5 Rings, in just practicing the art of taking care of what you have, right? And working at mowing the lawn. And mowing the lawn or pouring tea in the Japanese culture, or, you know, I make a latte for my wife every morning, you know, like making her a latte differently than just putting a latte in there. It's everything you do about it, and focusing your energy on a task is so incredible to me. And I love that aspect of martial arts. It teaches that discipline.
Everyone's bad at it, you know, and that, like, it's the beauty of, in my opinion, jiu-jitsu, martial arts is like, even the athletic, you're really bad at it.
My homeboy he's doing judo or jiu-jitsu, and he said he had to take 100 kicks on each leg before they started sparring. I'm like, bro, and I'm a world champion now. I'm like, hey man, no chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kick these thighs, man, I'm hurting, you know what I mean? But you know, it's a decision, it's a choice, and if you do it, you're better for it.
And it teaches you the lessons of life, in my opinion. You know, it teaches you like there's no excuse at the end of the day.
Right.
And like, I'm better than you one day, and then you come in the next day and you beat me.
Yeah.
Like, I can try to make all the excuses in the world that I want, but it's invalid, and I just have to deal with today.
Yeah.
You know, it goes back to my whole health thing. You know, like where we're alive. You know, especially I like jiu-jitsu. Like, somebody's mounted on top of you.
Yeah.
And you know, we do have this agreement that when you choke me and I tap, you let go. But I don't know, you could lose your shit for today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, so
I broke my neck wrestling, you know.
I have to fight for my life.
Yeah.
And sometimes fighting for your life is just surviving.
Yeah.
Like, just learn how to be mounted, because life's gonna mount you, and life's gonna get its arm around your neck, man. And when it does, if you don't have, I call them nail skills, right? Sometimes you're a nail and sometimes you're a hammer. If you don't have those nail skills, if you don't have the skills to survive, like when you were reading the paper and you're going to commit suicide, right? And you got suicide. I want to talk about it. I don't know what that was like, by the way. Like, if you don't have some skills set in to deal with that time, it's tough, man. It's tough.
And that's why I wrote the book, Mindset for Mastery, because to me, you need, and you say nail skills, and I'll say mindset. You need to be comfortable there. And I remember reading about a forest fighter and forest fire fighter. I had to say that 10 times real fast. But one of the
F's.
Yeah, right, and not the right F's. You know, but one of the techniques they use, and this guy talked about, he used it. He had to. The fire was closing in on them, and he knew he couldn't run out. And some of the guys tried to run, and those who did died. He had to dig a hole. Now imagine this: fire enclosing on you. He had to dig a hole in the dirt, covered his whole jacket with water, and sunk down so the fire could burn over him, and he could survive.
Holy shit!
Like, you talk about, like, that's being a nail.
Yeah,
right. Like,
that's
put
me
skills in the wood. You know what I'm saying?
Some nail skills.
But when you're there, what do you do? How do you respond? Do you give up? I mean, if he had given up and not dug that hole, he'd have been dead, wouldn't have been able to tell that story. You gotta have a mindset of, what can I do in this moment? And that's why I wanted to write that book.
But to go along with your mindset thing, you had to have a mindset before that moment too, though, to practice.
Practice.
Like, you have to practice. Like, you don't just like what you're saying with the coach that was like, I need, like, who was it? The Nuggets coach.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to see these guys fail. Like, they have to fail, right? But because there's no way to succeed without it. You can't do it. You cannot fucking do it. And everyone looks on Instagram and they see, you know, Beyonce and Kim Kardashian and all these. All we do is shout out how great we are. When there's no look at that failure. Right. Like, there was a lot of practice. You know, there was a lot of practice for everyone who succeeded. Like, that guy who dug the hole, he didn't just think of that.
Right.
Like, he's been training as a forest fire and having the right mindset for years. Yeah. And now here's the situation where he's got to save his life. Got it.
And I take it to, you know, when I was in the NFL, before every practice, I would go out and practice my footwork, because as a lineman,
I read this.
You use feet all
it's
the
all
time.
about the footwork.
So
right?
I would do it, and one time too, you know, and it was always funny to me. You know, I would be the first. I would typically be the first. I prided myself not just on being the first, but of giving myself the time to practice. You know, Peyton would often be the second in the year we won the Super Bowl. Why am I not talking about any of the guys who weren't playing on the field? Why am I not talking about the guys who are on practice squad, who are posting an Instagram photo of them before practice, when you need to be out here working so you can get the job? And one week, I told this young cat, like, hey man, you need to start coming out with me. You're coming out with me today. We're gonna go work before practice. So a week and a half he did this. They ended up cutting a guy who was at the same position. And the coach came up to him, check this though, this is people. Coach says, hey, we've been seeing you working, and that's why we cut the other guy over you. Keep it up. He didn't come out and practice with me before practice one more time that season. Got cut at the end of the year. Never played again.
How did he not?
It's people, man. You can only do so much.
Yeah, you can't make them drink, right?
But he didn't understand that, you know. And I tell people all the time.
But hold on, the coach said this to him, right?
Head coach said it to him. And he came to me. He's like, dude, thank you so much. Didn't see him again. He had done it, and it's so shocking to me. And what I'd say too to young cats when I was in the NFL, I'd say, listen, now, if you get a girlfriend or boyfriend, it's 2018, don't matter what you like and who you love, and they only do what you ask them to do you love that person? Do you know that they love you? Do you know that they want to be here? you know, versus, okay, the one person you love is doing extra things, bringing you flowers, cooking you food, right? And I said, as an athlete, you got to show your coach that you
putting a latte.
Making a latte. You know, don't just show up when we're supposed to show up. Don't just lift when we're supposed to lift. You're doing everything they ask you to do. You got to do more.
But you don't want to be successful.
You got to show them more.
It goes back to that, right? And you don't want to be great.
And I met one of my favorite coaches, Wade Phillips. I met his wife, and it was amazing to me, the introduction he made. He goes, "This is Ryan Harris." And he said, he works so hard. Every day he works before practice. That's how that coach knows me. Because of 15 minutes.
And let's be clear. Wade Phillips was a
world champion defensive coach.
Yeah,
never coached me in his life.
Didn't coach you in his life, yeah.
But that's how he introduced me to his wife. And I was so happy for myself in that moment because I didn't do it so he could introduce me to his wife as a hard worker.
Right.
I did it because I wanted to be great, and he recognized that. And that's what came to mind for him. And so often we think, okay, we got it. And it happens, we're both speakers. It happens in speaking. People think I don't have to practice my speech. You better practice, man. You better practice jiu-jitsu. You better practice football. But we fail to practice the things that make us successful. And that's really part of a mindset of I'm willing to do the little things, pay attention to the details that make a big difference.
I like to talk about this with like therapy. People, I go to therapy. I go to therapy every week.
I need to.
I go to therapy every single week, even when I'm good and when I'm bad. It doesn't matter to me, And I had this conversation with somebody once, and I said to them, they were struggling, and I was like, "You need to go to therapy. You need to talk to somebody who's just like a third person voice, And I got her to go. This girl, and she went for a little bit, and then I was like, I asked her a couple months later, I was like, "How's therapy?" She's like, "I'm good now." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Can I ask you a question?" And she goes, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "Did you brush your teeth today?" And she goes, "Yeah, why?" I was like, "Why'd you brush your teeth?" "Keep them clean." I was like, "So your teeth don't fall out, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Does the dentist does brushing your teeth help when your teeth are rotted out?" She's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, that's fucking therapy. You obviously are somebody who needs therapy."
Right.
Like therapy isn't for crisis.
Right.
Practice isn't for the Super Bowl.
Right.
No.
There's only a week and a half of practice for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? In a 10-year career.
Mm-hmm. Practice is for your life. Yeah. Practice is so that you can bring this to your kids. Like, you got to keep doing the things that got you here. Right. And sometimes we get there and we just stop doing the things.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you got to remember, okay, it's the footwork.
Right.
Right. And like, because man, look, my championships and your Super Bowl ring and they don't, like, the world, we're gonna die.
Our kids don't care.
No, but yeah, your kid does not. My kid, they don't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
Right? What do they want? They want dad.
Exactly.
They want a dad that's going to show them and be consistent on on love them and how to be better.
Yeah.
So all of our rings don't matter.
They don't.
None of it. Right? We're in your house. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. But if I asked you a question, Ryan Harris, you got to get rid of all that and have great kids, what would it be?
It's funny because I was just thinking, you don't know how often I come down here and think I'm tearing this stuff down. Don't even matter. Because I want my kids, I want them to draw on this wall. I want them to shoot a puck off. I want them to break a glass. Like, this was me in my past. And at one point, it mattered so much to me. And I realized it does. They're great stories to tell. And
it's
I love
amazing.
looking back on those moments. I got a ball there from Thanksgiving because they give game balls in the NFL. And one of the things when I talk to different leaders and teams, I talk about, you got to give out awards. You got to congratulate people, celebrate every win. I got a ball over there from the Thanksgiving game. And I grew up, my uncles, that's how I learned football. They called it fumble. And we would chase around in between half times of the games. Well, I ended up playing in that Thursday night game, in that Thursday Thanksgiving game against Detroit, in Detroit.
Who were you playing for at the time?
I was playing for the Texans.
Okay.
And Gary Kubiak before we won a Super Bowl. And I played in that game. We won in overtime. I made mistakes, and we still won. And my wife, when we left there, because it was a 1 Eastern time game, so we're done at 3:30, and we're on the bus at 5. And so my wife leaves about the same time I leave from Detroit. She leaves from Denver with the Thanksgiving meal packed from Whole Foods. And she meets me in Houston, and here we have dinner at like 9 o'clock in Houston. We have Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay.
And I just got tears in my, I got to play in the Thanksgiving game and have Thanksgiving dinner with my wife. It's like today I'm like getting tears. Think about it, everything that happened in there. So I love that ball. But that ball, I got that memory whether I look at that or not.
Yeah, man. And it's so hard, right? Because, like, and I feel bad saying that sometimes. Because people would die for that. people would die for that ball.
And that'd be a shortcut.
You know? Yes.
That'd be a shortcut.
For sure. And so I feel bad sometimes when I'm like, man, you just don't get it. Yeah, I know I fought in the UFC and I know that was amazing. But like the things that came along with that, like these little things that now I can use those lessons to give to my kids and other people. That's the special shit.
Exactly.
You know, that's the special shit. Like, yeah, that's great. And I don't even know how to articulate it that well, but you know,
it's not like throwing it away.
Yeah.
But it's looking at the greater purpose of that experience.
Because it doesn't mean anything. If I got nothing, if all I have is money at the end, and money and championships at the end of this, I fucked up.
And people are going to be tired of hearing your stories.
Well, someone's going to come along better.
Yeah, well, but my kids don't care about what I was thinking about the night before the Super Bowl. They want me to take them. They want me to take them to swim class.
They don't. Yeah, they care less.
They want to shoot me with Nerf guns when we walk in the door. You know what I'm saying? You know, you endeared yourself to my son forever because he's like, I can shoot you. Yeah. You know, but they don't care. And I learned that. You know, Carlos Santana has a fantastic book, The Universal Tone. I'll get it for you for the holidays. But in it, he talks about. He's like, I just got back from this big tour. We were with rock stars and one of my kids pooped and I had shit all over my hands. I said, what am I doing? I'm a rock star. I have shit all over my hands. He said, and my kids started laughing. I was like, and I realized then they don't care.
It doesn't matter
that I just played with the who's who of rock and roll.
Yeah, there was all these women and yada yada.
Yeah, he's like, I'm home now. And they want me to be as much of a dad as I am a rock star. And that just stuck with me.
They want you to be more of a dad than you are a rock star.
Yeah, and it comes, and how we do that, you and I are taking, like you said, those lessons and applying them, whether it's the 6 rules or therapy or a podcast or a book or a radio show. We apply those lessons so that other people know what to do in those moments as well. And that's a real champ. And
that's what you've got to do. Like, I listened to Obama. I'm an Obama fan, you know.
I met him. He's a great guy. He came in the room just like he thought, hey, everybody, how you doing? Peyton, who's going to retire first? You know, and like stuff like that, you know, it's crazy.
I'm an Obama fan, you know, I think the job of the president of the United States is very hard. You have tough decisions to make. I'm sure he made some bad ones.
Yeah.
And probably did some bad things, you know, but I'm still an Obama fan, and I listened to him on Letterman's got a new show on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw that one, yeah.
And he was like, man, our job in the world, my job in the world, because Letterman asked him, I can't remember quite how he said it. He said, do you ever look back and think about how great it was? You know, or something to that effect. And Obama looked at him and said, Dave, my job in the world is to understand how lucky I am. You know, to understand how blessed I am and lucky I am. And then I got to go take some of that dust and sprinkle that luck dust on as many people as possible.
I love it.
You know, and that's just what I feel my job is.
Yeah.
You know, and like, sure, my kids are the most important.
Yeah.
You know, but we need a little more sprinkling the dust. And I'm not saying redistribute the wealth or any of that.
I want my 40 acres and a mule. Let me tell you what, if it was in Montana, I'd have some. No, I'm not about that, you know. Yeah. But you're saying as a person, on a person-to-person level.
On the person-to-person level, right? Like I don't want followers. I want people right there with me. You know, I want people to be as blessed as I am, and to just to understand what that dust is like. You know, understand. I want to make people as lucky as possible.
And I say it all the time. You know, the best thing about winning the Super Bowl is everything you believe about yourself comes true for other people. You know, I know how to work hard. You know, I know how to fail. And that's why I want success for people, because if you succeed, you fail and move beyond it.
Yeah, man.
And I want people to have that experience in their life so they know it's up to whatever they want to work for and earn for and learn about that they can achieve.
It's because it's not easy. It's just life isn't easy, man. It is really, really hard. You know, it is, and it's not. And with all the technology and all that stuff, it's not getting easier. Like we think it is, right? Because our cars drive themselves and we got these phones and yada yada. But it's still the same shit. No one's any happier. I think we're probably less happy.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, I think we know less about ourselves because of technology. Because, you know, I encourage people to do yoga. I've been doing yoga for 17 years, and for 14 of them, people call me a pussy in the NFL. You're like, what are you doing doing yoga? Well, it's key to being a great athlete to me, you know, but I encourage people to try new things and to get that experience. And one of the best things about yoga, you leave your phone outside. It's just you for an hour. And that's what I love about working out. I'm not, and some people work out with their phones. I get that. I'm of the old school mentality though. Like, I'll show you after the workout what it looks like. Mm-hmm. But when I'm working out, it's not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
Now, if you're instructing me or I'm instructing somebody on how to be a great tackle, like that's different. But like when I get it, this ain't for you. This is for me. It's without the phone. So I think that's why I encourage people to work out, because you get away from that phone. You discover yourself. Okay, I was in a yoga class, my last one, and she said, when the difficulty begins, your yoga starts. And that's like, wow, like what a concept to bring outside of yoga. Okay, there's traffic. Okay, now I need to breathe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I need to show love and let somebody over.
Again, your stretch doesn't matter.
No, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like you take what you learn in the athletic world and you bring it outside, and I think that's the best thing we can do as athletes.
And just as people, right? Just as people, it reminds me of the Muhammad Ali quote, like, you don't start counting sit-ups until it hurts.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not how many sit-ups you can do, it's how many you can do after it hurts.
And I tell people, young athletes all the time, because I'm sure you get it with fighters and kids that come to me all the time. So, what do I got to do to be successful? I said, you got to work out when no one's looking. Like what you do, and people talk about character and all that, but I'm telling you, I'm like, you see me on a Sunday, but did you see me? And we talked about that dark gym of working out and doubt. Did you see me then? Did I care about you seeing me then? Or was I there to get better? Was I there to improve? Was I there to believe in myself? Like that's where you become great. And I also tell them you better get in class. And some kids say to me all the time, class isn't my thing. It's like, great. You're never getting in a huddle with Peyton Manning and myself, because if you don't know how to study, you don't know that blitz is coming on 3rd and 6, because that's their number 2 blitz, and we already picked up their first one, the first 3 drives, and you're not ready for that. Get the fuck out of the huddle. You're not playing. So you don't know how to study, you don't know how to listen, you don't know how to be a teammate. Get out of here.
And just the luck of pro sports, man. Right? Like you're probably not gonna make it, man.
Probably not.
You're probably not going to make it. And I know you're trying real hard to make it.
That's why I got 2 degrees from Notre Dame in 3.5 years. I was like, I don't want to waste my time.
Yep.
And when I'm done, I want to either go to law school or I want to go help on a political campaign. Like, I was ready, man. You got to have a plan.
You got to be ready.
C,
you have to be ready.
Got to be ready.
You have to be ready, especially for the athlete.
Yeah.
Because you're one knee injury away.
That's it.
Right?
I could spend the rest of this podcast telling you about guys I got one of my close buddies. So in the NFL, you got to get 3 years and 4 games before you get your pension and all these benefits. Fantastic. He's got 3 years, 3 games.
Oh, God.
And he had back-to-back ACL surgeries. He had 3 years and 3 games and had back-to-back ACL surgeries before he could play that one final game.
Did he get it?
No, never got it. A guy who was practicing one day.
And what's that difference like financially look like? So
the NFL has a matching program 2-to-1 up to $11,000. So if I put in $1, they put in 2. So if I put in $11,000, they put in 33.
Okay. Oh wow.
But if you don't get that 3 years, 4 games, all you get is the money you put in. So you just missed 60 grand, 40 grand back when. You know what I'm saying? That you can't touch until you're 65. You missed a pension that paid you $565 every year you played.
So if you had like a $10 million salary, and you just said, I'm just gonna put $1 million in.
No, they cap it at 11. You could put, I think, whatever the IRS limits the money.
Okay, got it.
But they would match you 2-to-1 up to 11, and he doesn't get that match. I got another guy who was in a 4th preseason game playing because there was other injuries. Took a wrong step on the muddy part of the field, had a bone bruise, ended his career. Never played again.
And that's not skill. That's nothing. That's just the luck. That's just the bad luck, right? That's just nothing. Happened to anybody. So if you weren't in the class, now you're just gonna go back and be a kid on the block.
Yeah. And your whole identity's ripped from you, your friends are ripped from you, your schedule's ripped from you, your strength. I mean, you've been injured. One of the tough things about being injured is you're not strong like you know you can be.
Yeah, man.
Now what do? Now what do you read?
And you're not you.
Right.
Like you're not you. You like you just said, your whole identity just got taken from you. And now comes the depression. Now comes the anxiety. Now comes all these things. All this shit that you did no practice to get to.
And at the same time, that's why I talk about your mindset. What can you do in those moments? That same guy, 3 years, 4 games, got 3 years, 3 games. Well, he's an agent now. Fantastic agent. Helping kids, helping guys maximize their potential, stay off the drugs, get to that second contract. The guy who's needs...
It's not because he wasn't he was prepared. He was in class.
Well, and he just made a decision afterwards. I'm gonna, okay, I do love football. I want to be near the game. I want to do X, Y, Z. He tried some things too. He tried things, and I always tell people, do something new, try something. If it doesn't work, at least you learn that.
Right.
Sometimes I tell the young kids, I'm like, do an internship. I did an internship at CU Boulder, and I loved it because I hated it, and I knew I didn't want to do that. Now I could have spent a year and a half getting my master's to go get a job that I didn't like. Now I'm really pissed off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that guy who had his knee, had a knee bruise, ended his career. He now started his own termite inspection company, and he makes over $1 million a year.
Fuck yeah, man.
So when that failure happens, what do you do? What can you do? And do it fast.
What will you do?
What will you do?
Yeah.
And do it fast. Don't waste time.
I was, another place where I got lucky, I feel like, is and after my very last fight, I fought on a Saturday night, and you come home on Sunday, and then on Tuesday, I was looking at the building, to buy the building at the Denver school was in. So I had somewhere to go right away.
Yeah.
Do it fast.
Do it fast.
Right? Do it fast because, man, you can't sit on the block. You can't sit at home. Because you are going to fall into some,
your good idea is shit on the couch.
You got to get going. You either get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah. Well, and what can you do, man? And I tell kids, because they're like, why didn't you just retire when you're done? I'm like, my kids see me sitting on the couch every day. Am I being a good father? And every one of them raise their hand, no. So, even, and that's one of the crazy things about retirement. I talk about it a lot, I write about it a lot. Because I always had this idea that when I retired, and you probably went through the same thing, that I'd be done. That I'd just be like, all right, get the kids to school, hang out, read. And about 3 days after doing that, I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of this house. I gotta do something. So what got you there is not gonna ever leave you. I always say the wolf never dies. So you gotta find a way to contribute and to bring value to other people's lives. And I hope through the book and through speaking and through my radio show that I'm able to do that. Yeah,
man, it's amazing, man. Tell everyone where they can get your book, Tell everyone the title again so they can search it right now.
Mindset for Mastery, #1 bestseller on Amazon.com. Get your copy. And if you reach out to me on Twitter at Salams_from_68 or Instagram at RyanHarris68, I'm always happy to sign it. You send something we'll have you send it to the radio station, and I'll sign it, send it back to you. And I want to encourage you to go for it. Whoever you are, wherever you're listening, all your favorite athletes have experienced failure and have found a way to move beyond it. And everything you've failed at, you have found a way to live beyond. So create your beyond and choose your mindset.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming on, making the time for me.
Man.
It's greatly appreciated. I'm at your house. You had me come over. It's
great to see you, man.
It's always good. I hope your holiday season is good, and thanks a lot, man.
You hungry? You need something to eat?
I'm good, man. But you know my name already.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There you go.
All right, guys, that's it. Gospel of Fire. We'll check you out next time. That's good. Thanks, man.
Cool. Hell yeah, man. Dude, you're spreading positivity with this, man.
Man, I'm trying, bro.